Iran's secret ally, how a U.S. nonprofit echoes regime propaganda. So this is, I'm bringing some knowledge to you guys that you probably have not going to heard of before, which is about Iranian influence networks in the United States. Okay, this is a real deal. Okay. So, the Muslim Students Association Persian speaking group, that's the name of this organization, or MSA-PSG for short, a US based nonprofit with long-standing accusations of ties to the Iranian regime, is hosting its annual conference in Herndon, Virginia from December 27th to December 30th. So, that's happening right now. Operating under the theme Resistance and Islamic Duty, the event features promotional material depicting armed soldiers and symbols associated with Hamas, raising alarms about its alignment with extremist narratives. The MSA PSG, also known as the Anjoman Islamie, has been monitored by the US law enforcement since the 1980s, with the FBI investigating it numerous times and labeling it. The FBI has labeled it an extension of the present regime in Iran. In 1984, they had that label, and alleging that it was used for intelligence gathering, targeting dissidents, and spreading Iranian propaganda. Founders of the group, Mostafa Chamran and Ebrahim uh, Yazdi, who were instrumental figures in the 1979 Iranian Revolution, established the group after breaking away from the Iranian Student Confederation. Despite accusations of receiving Iranian funding and even requiring loyalty pledges to the regime, the group operates as a 501c3 tax exempt organization, a status revoked in 2013 but later reinstated. Critics argue that its continued activities, including conferences promoting pro Islamic Republic and extremist messages, highlight the Islamic Republic's persistent efforts to maintain influence on U.S. soil under the guise of a nonprofit organization. So, this is one of those examples where Susanna went and read a giant report about Islamism in the United States, and I want to talk to you guys about it. And this more recent news about their conference gave me the excuse to come dump a bunch of knowledge on you. So, this is absolutely fascinating. I mean, we don't like it. Let me be clear. I I think it's fascinating because I'm a nerd and I like to know about how these things operate. You know what I mean? Um, so basically, for those who don't know, the Muslim Student Association, which is basically a campus activity club that has chapters across campuses across the entire United States. It's very similar to in the United States, it's very common to have a club on your university campus for the Black Student Union, or maybe fraternities, or Hillel for Jewish students. Similar to this. So there's the umbrella body, which is the Muslim Student Association. So the Muslim Student Association was founded mostly by supporters of the Muslim Brotherhood in the 1960s. So when people are like, "Oh, MSA is Muslim Brotherhood," that's what they're talking about. And has flourished with hundreds of chapters currently operating across the US. Um, However, uh, the so there was a split, and there was this other group that was for Iranian students on college campuses. Very common, you know? Like at my college, we had a group for Filipino students, and they would go do Filipino cultural activities together, organize dance. Oh, Amir is asking, it's still active? Oh, it's super active. It's totally active. Um, and the whole Muslim Student Association has had a huge role in all the unrest and chaos on college campuses with Gaza encampments and stuff. Is everyone starting to see the pattern here? Is
Wow.
everyone starting to see the pattern here? We got the Muslim Student Association. We got Students for Justice in Palestine. We got American Muslims in Palestine. These people all have connections to the Muslim Brotherhood, their founders, some connections to Hamas, CARE, Holy Land Foundation. It's a whole thing. And this is why I want to come talk to you guys about this, because every now and then it gives me an excuse to give you a little bit more of a piece of the puzzle. You know what I mean? So basically, there was another group called the Iranian Student Confederation. And however, there were these two men, Mostafa Chamran and Ebrahim Yazdi, who split from the Iranian student group because they thought that the Iranian student group was having an inadequate reaction to the arrest of Khomeini by the Shah. So they split from the original Iranian group because they wanted to support Khomeini more. They wanted to be against the Shah. And so they created a subgroup of Muslim Student Association that was for the Persian-speaking group. So they split from the Iranian group. They went under the umbrella of the MSA to create the MSA Persian-speaking group, MSA-PSG. So let's hear a little bit more about who these founders were. One of them was Ibrahim Yazdi, a prominent Iranian politician and diplomat who would end up playing a pivotal role in the 1979 Islamic Revolution, subsequently serving as the Minister of Foreign Affairs. Also, the idea of celebrating Quds Day was his idea. And these were people that were educated in the United States. Let's be clear. They pursued their education in the United States, and then they went on to participate in the Islamic Revolution. So the other founder, Mostafa Chamran, was a Berkeley educated engineer, military commander, and influential politician during the revolution, notable for his leadership in establishing the IRGC.
What the hell? How did these people get to do these things in the US then? With
Well,
these
because
background?
they started this before they left to go participate in the Islamic Revolution.
I mean, what the hell? This is too connected to be able to allow to do, like, isn't this illegal?
Well, they started it and then it continued on without them.
How is it allowed to continue without them? Okay, but
Well, I mean, that's a
how
good
is this
question because I
legal?
mean, they've the FBI the FBI is focusing on them, so I don't know the answer to that. Um, what's also crazy is that the second founder guy, Chamran, served as the Minister of National Defense of Iran and the Deputy Prime Minister of Revolutionary Affairs. Before that, during the 7 years that he lived in Lebanon, Chamran also played an important role in founding Amal. Amal is a Lebanese Shiite political party and militia that was established during the Lebanese Civil War.
Hmm.
And so, according to MSA PSG's own account, the initial goal of this organization was to support justice movements in Palestine and bringing awareness about dictatorships reigning in Muslim countries, namely Mohammad Reza Pahlavi's monarchy in Iran. That was their stated mission. Justice movements in Palestine and raising awareness about dictatorships, mainly the monarchy of the Shah.
Mhm.
And let me show you uh a, this is so crazy. This is a photo of the group back in 1989. And this is a photo of their protest. I'm not exactly sure where this is.
Are those your notes that you highlighted? Is this your?
Yes.
So this is guy. This is his research notes on this group. She made the Google Doc of it.
It looks like it says like Occupy Mecca. occupy Jerusalem, something places it in captivity.
What
And then
year
look,
is this again? You said 19 what?
1909. Look at, you can see that they
89.
have little pictures of Khomeini on them.
Mhm.
Look at these kids holding the pictures of Khomeini. They're all dressed in black mostly. And this
Occup-
guy holding a sign that says, "We will continue on Imam Khomeini's path."
so occupy Mecca as in an anti-Saudi Arabia position, basically meaning that they will save Mecca from Saudi Arabia, meaning that.
I wouldn't assume. I don't entirely know, especially because it's kind of cut off.
Yeah, this seems like an anti-Saudi message. Occupy Mecca, as in we need to liberate Mecca from Saudi Arabia.
Yeah.
So liberate Jerusalem from Israel and liberate Mecca from Saudi Arabia.
And
Basically.
something like places in captivity. Yeah, we will continue on Imam Khomeini's path. So it's pretty explicit what they're into here. Now, a few other interesting things about this group are a lot of the imagery that they use. They explicitly use militarized imagery. So they use imagery of Hezbollah fighters. Um, Today, MSA-PSG strives to honor the struggle and sincerity of its founders by serving Muslims and Islamic communities throughout the US and focusing our efforts on addressing the challenges facing Islamic societies and communities in Western society. So this is how they present themselves now. I love this quote. However, in a message handed to attendees of their 2008 annual conference, MSA-PSG stated that, quote, "At this current stage, our quest is to emulate the life and hero in contemporary times, Imam Khomeini, as we strive to establish the Islamic State of North America."
Huh?
Yeah. So this is
Wait.
what they say publicly. We're here to serve Islamic communities and the challenges they face. But at their own annual conference, they're like, we want to follow Khomeini and establish the Islamic State of North America. I was
Wait,
reading
they
this on a
say that?
flight. I was reading this
Oh.
on a flight, and when I read that, I literally like exclaimed out loud. I was like, there's some aspects of this report that made my jaw drop. Oh, in this report, if anyone is curious, you can find this for free. This is published by George Washington University Program on Extremism, and it's called Propaganda Procurement and Lethal Operations and Activities Inside America. And this report is the most thorough examination of Iranian influence networks published so far. Yeah, and they there's tons of other things in their materials. They say they're under the guidance of the supreme leader. So it's very clear that this is obviously an Iranian front group. Um, so here are images of one of the founders, Mostafa Chamran, that clearly glorifying his military contribution, right? Um, and what is another interesting thing? 1987 FBI report noted that their annual conference held that year in Dallas, all attendees had to pledge allegiance to their Muslim faith and loyalty to the government of Iran. So they've been receiving attention from the FBI since the 80s, since the early 80s. A 1994 FBI report delving into Hezbollah's activity in the US details that the terrorist organization is known to be in contact with the MSA-PSG, an Iranian student association active in the United States. So this is clear that it's a aspect of recruiting, that they use it for what's the word I'm looking for? Intelligence collection. Yeah, low level intelligence collection, tech and technical expertise, um, provides a significant resource base which allows the government of Iran to maintain capability to mount operations against the United States if it's so decided. Here's another thing proving that they're all about militias and glorifying the military overthrow, which is a picture of Imad. How do I pronounce this? Mugni Mugniye, who was a founding member of Lebanon's Islamic Jihad and a high-ranking member of Hezbollah. So they openly praise and celebrate and glorify people who are leaders in US designated terrorist organizations and have people pledge allegiance to um the Islamic Republic and their axis of resistance. And here are more
Any
examples.
imagery of Qasem Soleimani by any chance?
No, not yet. But these are all different IRGC commanders that or operatives that they're praising. Yeah, so this is just, I don't know. This is one of those situations where I just wanted to highlight it to help emphasize to people that these networks really do exist within the United States. Now, I don't understand like why they are allowed to continue. Um do I have any information about this here? No. Um oh, and they have a ton of connections um to other Iran aligned sheikhs that operate throughout the entire United States that are very clearly linked into them because they come speak at all their annual conferences and stuff. But I thought it would be interesting to actually look at the website of this conference of this group that is happening right now. So let me pull this up. Wait, stop. Okay, here we go. Yeah. So here we go. Let's just like poke through what kind of verbiage they use and stuff. Resistance in Islamic duty. You have the fist. And what is the matter with you that fight not in the cause of Allah or for the oppressed? Citing Al-Nisa. With the help of Allah and special attention of Imam Al-Asr, we are delighted to announce the 51st MSA-PSG annual conference. Okay. Conference theme. In both personal and social spheres, resistance plays a critical role in upholding justice, particularly for Muslims, as it aligns with our religious identity and principles. Following the example set by the Ahlul Bayt, we understand that standing against oppression is not only a moral obligation but also a sacred duty. By unifying our resistance, we strengthen our ummah, fostering solidarity, resilience, and a shared commitment to protecting the values of Islam. Today, as injustices persist around the world, this resistance becomes even more critical. The lessons of the Ahlul Bayt guide us in courage and persistence, reminding us that silence in the face of injustice is not an option. By standing together, we uphold truth and justice, ensuring that the principles of our faith are reflected in our actions, and we strive towards building a more equitable world. So, Armin, as someone who was raised in Iran with the propaganda of the Islamic Republic, does this ring any bells for you?
Yes, very, very Shia. Ahlul Bayt is very Shia, and also, by the way, it's not just very Shia, as I suspected, is also very anti-Saudi, because I went to check their Twitter account, and this is what I found. This is their Twitter account. Look at this. It says it comes as no surprise that the Wahhabi Saudi regime, guys, these Islamic people are Wahhabi is an insult, considered an insult. When a lot of Shias use the word Wahhabi as an insult, right? So like the Wahhabi Saudi regime has once again slaughtered 37 prisoners, but that's very rich coming from these pro-Iranian regime people who are doing more executions in their prisons than
Executed
Saudi.
300 in the past 2 months.
Yeah, look at this. Oh my God, they're calling out Saudi Arabia for slaughtering 37 prisoners, which included individuals who had been arrested in their teenage years. Wow, That's what happens in Iran as well. They execute people who were arrested in Tunis simply for protesting the atrocities of the government. Dude, this happens in Iran. In Iran, people get executed for protesting the atrocities of the government. They're calling out Saudi Arabia. Well, this happens more in Iran than in Saudi Arabia. Wow. Wow. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Fucking hell. Okay, but go on. What do you have to show? Show that's what is that you're
Oh,
showing?
oops,
Oh, you removed it.
oops. Oh crap.
It's okay.
Okay, here we go.
Okay, well you
It's here we go. It's
yeah.
just so interesting that they use like so much militarized imagery still,
Right.
and also that they have fees for kids, they have discounts for families here, um and it oh my god, they have the kids dressed up as little Basijis basically. Oh no, I'm wrong. I thought they
What
were
are they
wearing those
wearing?
like classic white shirts.
What are what are they holding?
I don't know.
I cannot
They're doing
say.
some sort of recitation.
Mm, probably
Um which
musical.
feels kind of weird to me. I thought this is supposed to be like a college group. You know what I mean?
How are they a 501c? Like, how is this like? If you don't want to arrest, like, ban it. At least don't make them a 501c. Like, is it so easy? I don't know.
Well, this is actually a problem that goes on in the United States where honestly, there are efforts to update our IRS tax code regarding 501c3s. But to be honest, we should just enforce the current aspects of the 501c tax code, and we would be able to strip a lot of people of their tax code, their tax privileges, just based if we enforced what we already have. Um, one thing that
So,
drives me crazy is just we don't even enforce what we already have on the books.
right.
Um,
But when Navid is
yeah,
saying, asking what's a 501c, that means they're a charity. That means they're tax exempt. That means that you're basically, as an American, not only you're not stopping this, but Americans are
you're
funding this. That
subsidizing
means
it by
they're
privilege of them not
subsidizing.
paying taxes.
Yeah. So it's beyond just being it's beyond just being allowed. It's basically government sponsored.
Yeah, absolutely insane. I don't know what the status of it is with this particular group, to be honest. Especially considering that like the feds have had their eyes on them since the 80s. I don't know what's going on there.
Yeah. So we
But I
have
like to talk about these things because this is real. Like I don't know. I feel like a lot of times when you talk about um Muslim Brotherhood and other things, people look at you like you're a conspiracy theorist. Or yeah,
mm,
Islamic Republic influence networks in the United States. It's not a conspiracy. This is very well documented.
yeah, wait, so this comment was there saying, "Oh my gosh, should we go crash the party?" I mean, they have a website where you could register. Should we send I mean, I always wanted an Atheist Republic army, but given that we cannot have okay, never mind. Never mind. They were joking. We're joking. We're joking.
I'm not
What
responsible
was
for
a joke?
anything you guys do.
Okay, we were joking because that was a joke. I take it back. I take it back. I take it back. Yes, you're right. Susie is like Susie. This is why Susie is the CEO, because some people might think that I was being serious and they might go do something that I was not advocating for. This is why Susie is the CEO of Atheist Republic. I Please don't go do anything like that. I thought it was an obvious joke, but you're right, Susie. Somebody might take that seriously. Yes. Susie was like, no. Okay, but we made it clear. We made it clear that we didn't mean that. Okay, so that's
Not
fine.
okay. Oh, Gaijin
Yeah.
gave a super chat. Thank you, Gaijin, saying, I appreciate the reporting. My algorithm Kami would never have brought this to my attention.
That's good.
Thank you. Rafa gave a super chat saying Khamenei believes Israel has more powerful jinns. Does that mean that he has his own? Does that mean that someone is scamming and making money off of him because making him believe they're jinns or they have
You know,
jinns?
that's you know, most likely it seems like ridiculous to say this, but most likely yes. Okay, Khamenei publicly has says that this is a battle not just between humans, but between gens. So meaning he publicly said that if he says between gens, that means that there are humans, like the war between the axis of resistance and the imperialism and Zionism and the basically Nizam Sultan, basically the world powers, right? The basically Western liberal order is the battle of humans and gens, meaning that there are gens on both sides, meaning that he has gens believes that he has gens recruited on his side. He has that's his idea, and he wears like certain rings that are supposed to be boosting, I don't know, and some protection, and so they are a lot of superstition, and there are also reports of him replacing some of his people that were his, I don't know, gin masters or whatever, the people who, and he wasn't happy with them and he fired them to recruit some other people that were supposed to be working with the jinns for him. So this is all apparently part of their ideology. That this is we're fighting in this war. Humans are fighting against each other, but also both sides are recruiting jinns as well, right? Um, this is it's very strange because based on what we learned as Shias in school, um, like all of the battles in Islamic history were like this. When Muhammad was participating in war, he had jinns, and it's weird because when Hussein was fighting in Karbala, he had many jinns fighting for him as well, which is weird. And how did he lost so how did he lose given how he has so many jinns on his side? I don't know. Like we had reports of in the middle of the battle, like some the enemy will come and then you would just see their heads fly in the sky without any swords hitting their necks because it was a sword of a jinn hitting their neck. So many of these reports. So yeah. So yeah, the answer is yes, basically. The jinns were
Sounds
at
pretty
home.
cool to me. Um, Rafa, thank you for being a member, Rafa. Saying Islamic State of North America, that's Takia, right? No, they mean that.
No,
That's
that's
definitely
actually
not
them being
Takia. They mean that.
no, that's them being honest about their intentions. That's the opposite of taqiyya.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
I don't understand what's so difficult to understand about this.
yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, why would this be taqiyya? Taqiyya would be the opposite. Taqiyya would be this being their intention and them telling you that this is not their intention. This is the opposite of taqiyya. This is a mask fall. Yeah, yeah, mask slipping moment. Do you know who makes the most amazing, gorgeous, and other adjectives that I can't use here on YouTube, blasphemous art ever? We do! And for some reason, we are giving it away for free. Download them now using the link in the description before we change our mind.